So after this building finally just fell apart on me, if you watched my previous videos on building the chicken houses out of scrap, you'll know that this was a structure we had moved all over the property numerous times, and eventually when we finally figured out we wanted it over here, which is on the other side of the house and kind of what I guess you could call the pedestrian, the living area of our property, which is only about 3 or 4 acres of it. This basically flipped over, fell apart, and I had to rebuild the entire thing. And if you are thinking that I took every board apart to rebuild it because that would be the easiest thing as far as transporting and rebuilding, you're absolutely wrong. I'd never do anything easy. I definitely took the hard road when it came to putting this back together. So putting all this back together was a bit of a challenge, but I got it up. One of the issues that I started to run into as I put it together was the stability of the structure, because I had moved it so much and it wasn't sitting on even ground. I was definitely running into some stability problems. You can see I kind of built it down with the slant to the ground. I didn't try and level it out or up high because I wanted it to go all the way down to the ground. I put some 2x10s around it to protect the chickens, but these 2x10s also, as I built it, helped provide some stability to the structure. So there's actually a couple up here up high that wrap around it, and then there's a couple down low. And this is all scrap wood that I found in our barn that we weren't using for anything else. I probably wouldn't use it on a new structure because well, a new structure of value to us, something like a shed or something that we'll be walking on, just because it is old wood and it's not, some of it might be a little warped. It's not perfect wood to work with. So if I build a nicer building on our property, I'll probably use newer timber. But this older timber that I am using is still pretty solid, and it definitely helped to solidify the structure. I went ahead and added some of the walls before I even got to the roof, because I wanted to make sure that the structure itself would be solid and stable when I climbed up on the roof to do that part. So at this point I had to do a lot of sourcing of wood from our barn, which meant going out to the barn, pulling boards, removing the nails, and then bringing them back here and putting them back to use again. So there's a lot of work dealing with scrap wood, but again, all of this is free material, and I believe in reusing old material when you can. And something like a chicken coop, even we're going to paint this and do everything we can to make it look fairly decent when we're done, but it's still going to look kind of like an old barn building sitting on our property that's been around for a long time because of the old wood that we're using. But that's okay, I think, for a chicken coop. It can be a little rustic in my opinion. So this isn't how it's going to look. Obviously, we've got to finish the front here, and then we're definitely going to paint it. We need to put some trim boards on to close in the corners and the sides, but this is the point where I've had to really kind of wrap my brain about how to pull this thing together, and with using some of those scrap pieces from the barn, not knowing what I could pull or how I could get to it. It's not like I could just go to the lumber yard and say, hey, I need this board for that. I actually had to work with whatever it was that I could find as I built this thing. So it was definitely a tricky process, and if you watch our channel, I don't do anything the easy way, so nothing that I've done here was easy at all. But I've gotten to this point, and now we're moving forward.